Welcome back, Smart Start Radio family. Before we get into our latest amazing episode, we have a quick word from our sponsor. With spectacular hotels, amazing theme parks, and unparalleled entertainment, Universal Orlando Resort offers a meeting destination unlike anything else in the world. You know how sometimes you go to an event or a fam or a meeting experience and there's that one moment that just follows you home? Not necessarily the biggest moment, not always the flashiest thing on the agenda. Sometimes it's the thing that sneaks up on you, a cooking class, a view, in my case, a ghost tour in Memphis, a walk through a destination where suddenly the place starts making sense, quiet moment where you look around and think, oh, this is why this matters. That's what I want to talk about today, the activation Afterlife. Because the best event activations do not just give attendees something to do while they are there. They give them something to remember after they leave. And that's really the goal.
Smart Star Radio, Smart Star Radio. Ready, say, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. That's Smart Star Radio, Smart Star Radio. Ready, say, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. Starting smart is the action we design. Meeting other minds, how to better use our time.
How's it going, Smart Start Radio family? I am once again your host in the booth, Eming Piansay. I'm so sorry I was gone for so long. I had trips lined up. I had PTO in the can. I just had to do all the things. And now I'm back with you and I'm so happy to be here today. So we're going to kick off this new episode of Smart Start Radio Coffee Chat by jumping into a news story on our website. Today's conversation is inspired by a recent Smart Meeting story by Kate Zaliznock called Marriott International's Luxury Group, Activations That Stick. And honestly, that phrase is doing a lot of the work here. Because in the article, Kate looks at three very different Marriott Luxury Group experiences: a winemaking activation at the Ritz-Carlton Bacara Santa Barbara, a performance and wellness-focused experience at JW Marriott Tampa Water Street, and private in-suite Broadway-style performances at the Ritz-Carlton New York Central Park. The through line is that these activations are not just filling agenda space. They are built around participation, personalization, and emotional connection. And that's what events should really be about, if we're being frank here. And as someone, me, who's been on the road a lot recently, as I said at the start of the show, this really stuck with me because I've been thinking a lot about what actually stays with you after a trip. And usually, it's a lot, especially when the trip is really good. Here's where I think planners can start. There's a difference between an activity and an activation. Let me explain. An activity is something attendees do. An activation is something attendees feel, participate in, and remember or carry forward when they get home. That sounds simple, yes, but it really changes the way you design a program. In Kate's story, the Santa Barbara wine experience is not just everyone gets a glass of wine. It's a group creating a custom blend, something tied to collaboration, ownership, and it becomes a tangible takeaway and also a metaphor for the gathering itself. And that made me think of my first trip that I went on last month to Puerto Rico. Shout out to the Discover Puerto Rico team because they are amazing and so kind. There were several moments where food and culture were not treated as side programming. They were the programming. The itinerary included experiences where I got to make my own cocktails multiple times. I got to experience a culinary class, essentially, which then was served to me for dinner, which was amazing. These experiences became a core memory for me because I've never been to this location. I got to do things I'd never done before in a different place that were specific to that region. And I got to meet people who were just so kind, so awesome, and just in general, just open to just sharing their culture with me. And I think that is what made that trip so impactful and why I will always refer to it as one of my favorite trips because it was an experience that I'm never going to forget. And that's essentially the goal of a planner, is to get attendee to say that out loud to other people. And I think that was accomplished on this trip, which is great. And I'll always come back to the food aspect because it wasn't just about the food. It was the fact that we would have these meals. And, for fam trips, we're always on a go. But the meals specifically were an experience. We would be sitting there and I was expecting to just eat and go. But no, we sat, we talked, we chatted, we bonded, we learned about the people at the table. It was an experience. It wasn't just we're trying to feed ourselves and move on through our day. No, this is the experience. This is a big part of what it means to be in Puerto Rico, which was amazing. It was like a doorway into like understanding what it means to be someone who's not from here, but is experiencing it for the first time. And I feel like I got to experience what an attendee might also be experiencing when they are immersed in a space that they are unfamiliar with, but are offered so many amazing to partake in. The food is a doorway, and it can tell attendees where they are because it's very different. Like, it's very distinct. The flavor profile is distinct. It's so many good foods, so much good food in Puerto Rico. I can't even begin, but it definitely was a core memory for me because as someone who's half Filipino, like, food is a big way that our culture connects and invites. And so I really saw that in that. So I was able to compare my personal experiences with my family to this, and it felt a lot like a family gathering, which I thought was really interesting and reminded me of what it's like when I visit my family in the Philippines. And that was really cool for me because I felt like I was, visiting someone's family, not my family, but I felt like I was invited into someone's home essentially. If the home is, a whole island. But yeah, that's what Looking for a way to add some swagger to your meeting? Hold it in Dallas. You'll find 20 plus diverse neighborhoods bustling with entertainment, art, and chef's kiss worthy food. Not to mention the world's best icebreaker, the famous Margarita Mile. Whether it's a Michelin Guide recognized chef's table for 10 or seats at a big game for 1,000, Dallas is a playground for networking, team bonding, and after the meeting memorable moments. At its heart, you'll find a vibrant, walkable arts district voted #1 in America. Drop into downtown's historic Deep Ellum neighborhood for a show or take the team and the energy to the next level atop of Uptown's stylish rooftops. Get the creative juices flowing in the colorful Bishop Arts District or any of the lower Greensville trendy hotspots. Want to energize your attendees with just the right amount of that legendary Dallas swagger? Start planning your meeting at visitdallas.com. And now, back to our show. So the activation, whether it's food, whether it's an actual experience, it doesn't have to scream, look at me, I'm an activation. Sometimes it just has to make the destination feel real. And that's what I think that accomplished for me. One of the things I liked about Kate's article is that each example is rooted in where it happens. Santa Barbara gives you wine country. Tampa gives you championship culture. New York gives you Broadway intimacy and Central Park energy. This is such a good reminder for planners because the strongest activations usually do not feel copy pasted. Attendees to feel like this is something that they can only experience in this location. And that's what it felt like in a lot of cases for me when I do travel. And I felt this in a very different way in Central Oregon though. The trip was not loud. It was not about spectacle. It was about space, landscape, and reset. Like, even though it's a place where you can host meetings, it gives you like air to breathe and space to think. Like, I could be at a meeting and go outside and stare at the mountains and just feel like, okay, reset. Like instant reset. Like, I'm not stressed. I can gaze out and maybe I'll see a deer. Like, there's a certain calm to it that was embedded in it for me. The itinerary included places like the High Desert Museum, Sun River Resort, which has a great spa, by the way. If you ever go there, please check that out because it's really good. A stargazing program. It was foggy that night, but we got to learn about telescopes, and I got to hold a meteor. But probably my favorite experience from that trip from Oregon was visiting Smith Rock State Park with Wanderlust tours. It was also like the weather was not great and I was kind of nervous it was going to rain on us. It didn't, but we got to kind of do like I don't know how many miles we walked, but it was a good walk around the state park. We saw people rock climbing. We saw so many birds. It was beautiful. And honestly, like, giving attendees like a moment to just like be in nature and experience nature, it's definitely like a mind shift. Like, you're doing something, but different doing something. Like, you're experiencing something. And I think being able to offer a nature-led transformation of some sort is a really great option for planners, especially when attendees are constantly on the go, 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 go. And it's great to have a event in a space where that's not like the first thought in your head is go. It might actually be pause. And if you can get your attendees to pause, that is the mind mind shift that you're probably aiming for. And that matters because wellness can very easily become generic. You know what I mean. A yoga mat in a ballroom, a smoothie bar, a take a deep breath moment squeezed between 2 packed sessions. And listen, I love a deep breath. We know this. If I edit my breathing out of this podcast all the time. But the question is, does the wellness actually belong in the place? Does it change the rhythm of the agenda? Does it give people permission to feel different in their bodies for a second? That's where Central Oregon worked for me. It was the lack of demand for things. It was the pace, really. Where you host your event can set the pace. And if you're in a place where just being outside is just like the chillest thing your body can do, then that speaks for itself, in my opinion. Just to summarize what I've been saying, it's not just like, here's a wellness thing. It was, here's a place that actually asks you to slow down, which is my whole thesis point, is that sometimes slowing down can make your experience at a destination so much better. It's just my opinion, but I lived it, so I think it's pretty valid. So if we are thinking about designing activations that actually last, here are 3 planner moves to keep in mind. First, ask what attendees will carry home. Not physically, although sometimes that matters too, because your luggage is only so big, but emotionally, mentally, and practically. Will they carry home a new habit, a new relationship, a new understanding of the destination, a story they want to tell someone else? In Kate's article, Marriott's examples include a wine blend that continues beyond the event, performance habits attendees can apply in daily life, and intimate entertainment designed to deepen relationships. The common thread is impact beyond the moment. That's the question planners should be asking early in the design process, not just what will attendees do, but what will still be with them a week later. The next point is let the destination do more of the work. If you are in Puerto Rico, let the food, history, rum, music, architecture, and local voices come through. If you're in Central Oregon, let the landscape, skies, trails, rivers, pace of the place shape the experience. This does not mean every event needs to become a destination tour. It means the event should not feel like it could have happened anywhere. This is where local flavor becomes something deeper than decor. Third point, match the activation to the objective. Not every activation needs to serve the same purpose. If your goal is team building, hands-on participation, that matters most. If your goal is team building, hands-on participation might matter most. If your goal is executive connection, intimacy might matter more than scale. And if your goal is attendee restoration, a quiet outdoor experience may do more than another high energy reception. And if your goal is brand storytelling, then maybe the activation needs a tangible piece that follows attendees home, like a custom label, a recipe, a digital follow-up, or a shared memory people can actually reference later. Actually, fun point. I went to a Marriott event last year and I got to make my own spice that I still use when I cook. So these are really great things that you can think about. Not only is it something that they're doing in real time that they can take with them. The activation should not just be impressive, it should be aligned. So here's the takeaway. The best activations are not always the biggest things on the agenda. They are moments with an afterlife. It's the moment people talk about at dinner, the thing they bring up on the plane ride home, the story they tell their team later. That feeling that makes the destination make sense. And whether that looks like blending wine in Santa Barbara, learning from a championship culture in Tampa, sitting close enough to feel a Broadway performance in New York, cooking together in Puerto Rico, or standing under a Central Oregon sky, the question for planners is the same. What are you designing that will still be alive after the event is over? Once again, I am Eming Piansay, and this has been Smart Start Radio Coffee Chat. You can read Kate Zaliznock's full story, Marriott International Luxuries Group, Activations That Stick, now on smartmeetings.com. And as always, grab your coffee, your matcha, your water, or whatever is currently keeping you upright. And I'll catch up with you guys next time. Bye.
A Smart Star Radio, Smart Star Radio. Ready, set, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. A Smart Star Radio, Smart Star Radio. Ready, set, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. Starting smart is the action we design. Meeting other minds, how to better use our time. Leading, interceding, proceeding, they divine. It's believing, they conceding, so I'll close them over.
You've been listening to Smart Start Radio, a Smart Meetings production. Interested in being our next guest? Connect with us at editor@smartmeetings.com.